Today I'll be telling you a story. The story of the mouse versus the mountain. The clod versus the god. David versus Goliath. Except, in my version of the story, David is kind of an annoying little and we're not sure if we should be rooting for him. That's right, this video is sponsored by Dbrand. But because Dbrand doesn't pay enough to review our sponsored videos before we post them, I'll be saying whatever the hell I want about the saga that took place that led up to the release of these. They're Dark Plates 2.0 PlayStation 5 console covers. So strap in or strap on, whatever it is you're into, and listen to my tale. It all began on a cold and polite day in Canada when a mild and well-mannered company called Dbrand, best known for making expensive stickers, released their Dark Plates, a black-colored version of Sony's original white plates for the PlayStation 5. There were a couple of differences, one being that they were black, hence the name Dark Plates, and the other being that instead of having Sony's little exo triangle square texture on the inside, they had a more Dbrand one with little robots and nuclear symbols and, I don't know, corrosive symbols, skull and crossbones, that sort of thing. I can never remember how to take these things. Okay. Then what happened next was something of a shocker for anyone who's never heard of Sony before and has no familiarity with how they treat perceived infringements upon their intellectual property. Sony issued a cease and desist to Dbrand, citing patents pending, which we found out later included a design patent for the unique shape of the PlayStation 5 console. And since this video is sponsored by Dbrand, I'm not going to editorialize on the shape of the PlayStation 5 console other than to say that before Dbrand sent me my bag of money to make this video, I had said that. Also, I think they were going for like Alienware futuristic curve, but it actually just ends up kind of looking warped. It just looks kind of defective to me. There are a number of reasons that Sony might have engaged in this type of lawyering. Dbrand's best guess is that they were trying to maintain a monopoly on different colored side plates, whether they come from Sony themselves in the form of a new colorway of the console, or whether they come from we interrupt this program to bring you breaking news. Sony just announced a couple of days ago I was about to call them Dark Plates. Sorry, their replacement plates for the side of the PlayStation 5. They're available in, what do they call them, like Galaxy of Colors or something like that? So, back to the video. A licensed partner. In my opinion, it's less about the actual side plates themselves, since if Sony gave two hoots how the console looked, they probably wouldn't have released them with these on them in the first place. And it's more about maintaining an iron-fisted grip on the overall accessory ecosystem, because whether you're Nintendo, Sony, or Microsoft, that whole authorized or certified program is only worth the paper it's printed on unless you go out and sue the bejesus out of anyone who doesn't apply for it. So that's my best guess, but whatever the real reason is, Sony has effectively won that stage of the battle. The good news is that the only real argument that they were able to make against Dbrand producing their own plates was that Dbrand's plates infringed upon Sony's unique and therefore wonderful shape. So, since Dbrand, I think, saw the writing on the wall about this at a fairly early stage, they almost immediately were able to counter with this. Let's take a look at it. This is actually my first in-person look at Dark Plates 2.0. And there are a number of key changes here. One that I actually didn't expect. Okay, first of all, let's look at the shape compared to the original plates. So this appears to be our left side plates? Yes, okay. So we've got the disc version of the Dark Plates 2.0. You can see it still has kind of a contour, but instead of having that popped collar look, it's got like a rounded corner look to it. One big difference you guys might have noticed is that it now comes with a ventilation hole. That is a pretty big deal in my opinion. Dbrand's already talked about this publicly, but Gamers Nexus did some thermal investigations on the PlayStation 5 and found that by removing the side panels, you could see lower internal temperatures by as much as about 5 degrees. Now, putting a dust filter on it might affect those results somewhat, probably to the tune of a couple of degrees, especially if you, end up with Cheeto dust caked onto your fan filter. Which, David, that's a legitimate gamer concern, okay? But in my opinion, having the filter there at all is an absolute boon, and I would personally opt for the however slight reduction in performance for having the filter, because you're gonna get way more of a difference in performance if you let this thing just suck in dust forever. In case you don't want it, the fan filter is 100% removable, so you can just opt to have it installed a little something like that. The thing I didn't know about and didn't expect was that after Dbrand mocked Sony for claiming that this arrangement of symbols was somehow infringing upon Sony's arrangement of completely different symbols, would result in them actually changing the little imprints on the inside of the console. So now, instead of having, you know, these 4 different symbols kind of arranged in the same kind of general area, it's just 0s and 1s that almost certainly are some kind of manifesto about what horrible people Sony are. Knowing them, I mean, David, is there any other possibility? Because that's gotta be what it is. Have they talked about that publicly? I'm sure it's what it is. You know, the irony is that in order for Sony to find out what it says, they're gonna have to buy dark plates. Someone's gonna have to check your dark plates and figure out what the heck this says. Nothing's cut off at the edges, so it's almost certainly an actual message. Can you see them? Overall, really good. It appears as though they've basically eliminated any exterior defects. They've got a pretty nice kind of matte finish on it. And then they've got, you can see they've got a little bit of rippling here. So that might happen when the plastic isn't flowing evenly into the mold, like, or it can happen during cooling, little things like that. But on the outside, absolutely nothing. Looks really good on this side. So what else can we say about it? We can apply Dbrand skin, the one that looks like a PS1. I think legally they're not allowed to say it's the PS1 color, especially now that they're on Sony's radar. If I were them, I would just avoid any use of anything that Sony could possibly turn around and bother them over. This is totally not how you're supposed to do it. dbrand.com/how. Hey, not bad, okay. I didn't say perfect. Pretty slick, huh? And I can say that after you do this, your PlayStation 5 will be objectively cooler. Get it? Hey, because of the vent holes. Which one is the power button, David? Oh, I found it. Hey, there they are. Check that out. As part of the new DarkPlates 2.0 design, you can get these little like light bar filter things. You can get them in a bunch of different colors. Unfortunately, they're not RGB because that would have to actually be built into the PlayStation hardware, but they are little diffusers that, oh my God, are they RGB? What just happened?
So you have to put them on. That's just the PS5 color.
But it's blue. Well, they don't appear to be in the package they sent, but they're definitely on Dbrand's website, which you can check out at the link down below. Thank you, Dbrand, for sponsoring this video and making everyone's PlayStations look better, one set of dark plates at a time. That's totally the route that I would go. Although I don't know that I'd go black dark plates. They've actually got a few different colors. I'd probably go white. Yeah. Yeah. So it's like a white and gray. Actually, I'd probably just go all gray. Man, it makes this thing so much more of like a blend in with your home theater looking device, hey? Like compared to the big old like, oh, and what's nice about the gray too is it'll match the ugly cheap gray metal that Sony put on the inside and didn't bother to treat with anything. Yeah, I like it. Oh, I guess I didn't actually show you guys exactly how to clean the fan filters. I did accidentally pop it off, but you just twist it off and then you go clean it because you're filthy. And then you put it back. That's weird. They've got a mark on here that seems to kind of help you put it in the right spot, but I don't see a corresponding mark on the inside of the dark plate. The only thing I can tell you is you might want to just put your own little scratch on it so that it's a little bit easier to line up, because if you try and put it on the wrong thing, you can see the spacing of the tabs isn't right, so it might just take you a little while to get it in exactly the right spot. Okay, we got the other colors, it turns out. That's pretty sweet. We still didn't find the light filter things, but that's okay. That's less of a big deal from my perspective. I want to put the retro gray on here. Ooh, I'm kind of liking it, David.
Me too.
And the best part is you don't get that contrast with the unfinished metal on the inside and the color out here, because they actually kind of look the same through the fan filter. That's not bad, is it?
I like that. D-Brand should make skins for the metal inside.
Man, you could probably get they should make skins for the metal inside actually. D-Brand, hey, let's go. You need white and black skins to match the dark plates for the little metal grill thing inside. Come on, you'll charge 10 bucks for them because you hate your customers so much, and everyone will win. Ooh, it's not bad. In my opinion, if you want the console to be white, then you can just keep having your console be white. But the gray ones and the black ones, especially the gray ones. So that's it. Thanks D-Brand for sponsoring this video. F you D-Brand for sponsoring this video. Thanks you guys for watching. Subscribe to Short Circuit. JK, D-Brand, love you. JK, you suck. Sorry, I'm all over the place in this relationship.